Well, after the what I would call rousing success of the Trickster Challenge, I think we're going to take this a little bit further and use the concept that I kind of brought forth. And with the slew of powerhouses that exist out there in my roster, we're going to do the Powerhouse Pilgrimage. And what does that mean? Well, a challenge was 7, a pilgrimage is 14. So let's go through my powerhouses, since clearly this is going to be probably a 3 or a 4-parter. So what we're going to do is I have 7 gold. 7 golds are going to remain. 7 golds will remain put aside for hell mode. That's ideally where we're going to go with that. Additionally, I've already mapped it out where Bam Bam is going to be tagging with Vader, so he's going to go back that way. So based on what we have here, let's be smart about who we're going to use and how we're going to use in the hard mode. Now, with hard mode the way it is, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got 8 bronze or higher. So who do we think is probably the weakest? I'm going to go out on a limb and probably say that Brawn is probably the weakest out of the group. So let's take a look at Brawn. We're going to have Brawn versus Jake the Snake. Brawn can destroy 3 reds on an 11 charge. He turns multiples. He's got that black feeder, which just feeds and keeps on feeding. We've got a countdown gem, but there's no way in heck this match should go more than 5. So it's really kind of not in our best interest. I'm thinking what we want to do here is we want to go with Woods, and we want to go with Woods with Barrett. And I'm going to go with Woods with Barrett because Barrett's breaking those red gems. We have 8 red gems that are breaking. It almost kind of acts like a finisher. It is the second strongest gem in the game. So that's what we're going to do when we have to play with Brawn. And, we've had some events in recent months that are forcing you to use characters, and this would be one of them. I mean, Harper will be right behind him, I presume, who we'll use. And with Harper, we had to use Harper in the WrestleMania tour. So, we got to use him a little bit. So here we go. We're obviously going to try to chase some purple. I don't see any in sight. So what we'll do is we'll take our red right off the bat. Jake gets his green, which therefore sets up our purple. So let's take our purple there. Right, so this is just a straight up move damage move. Takes Jake down to danger, and this should finish him off with the cascade we have coming here, and it does. So we get through the first node with Brawn, and we head on our pilgrimage, as I will call it. It's interesting that last year, right about this time, was right around when the trainers came out, and it was kind of universally thought of that powerhouses were the weakest class, and here we are with the ability to train and therefore have a 4 MP head start. And I would say right now, from top to bottom, outside of obviously the strikers, you're not looking at a better class. So Brawn's been used. He's done. I would say our second weakest, since obviously we're dealing with bronzes here, is going to be Luke Harper. And let's make sure Harper's done. Let's take a look at his moves. So we got a row break. And if you recall, Ron Simmons is the column break trainer, not the row break trainer. So that doesn't do a whole lot for us. His finisher is a 15 charge, not really what we're kind of looking for here. It's definitely a precarious spot. You can just kind of see it's just there isn't a whole lot to do here. If the blues were random instead of, rather if the red gems were random, I'd be more inclined. I think we'll keep this setup and just kind of let the chips fall where they may, even though. I guess maybe the value here is that we're looking at, it is a colossal amount of move damage. So what I'll do here is I'm going to put Woods with Big Show on him. And, for a 3-star bronze, I mean, it's a substantial amount of move damage. So let's take a look. Big Show's probably sitting on my Razor. No, it's sitting on Kane, interestingly enough. So let's take a look. And where's Woods? Woods. We just used you, Woods, and now we're going to use you on Mr. Harper. So let's go on through. Harper, like Brawn, another character that doesn't have any flow to him. Really, the only time you want to use him is if, one, you're a fan, two, if you're in a pinch force like we were in that last event. And just to show you what the Big Show, I mean, it's 14 and 21K for a 3-star bronze. I mean, that's some substantial move damage. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Rock that doesn't have a lot of flow to him. This is a Trickster Rock I'm speaking of. Doesn't have a lot of flow to him, but, at the end of the day, he still packs a lot of punch with move damage. And see, this is going to make it a little bit more difficult. We didn't have one purple match, and, I've heard people say in the past, well, the other YouTubers, they showcase only their best moves, and he's right. I mean, you never see this happening. I mean, it's unbelievable. You would think that you got the match every single time. Anybody who just kind of watches some of the other content out there, but we aim here to show a equally and fair and unbiased product, and that's kind of what we're doing here. And you can see, I mean, I'm stuck in Orndorff's stupid submission. I'm not getting anything. I still don't have a purple match in sight. It's kind of we're at what, 5 turns here, 6 turns. And what are you gonna do? I can't make them happen. Fortunate, and he's still just chomping along. Get this, we get a little double match action here, and at least this will get him into danger. The annoyance factor is still extremely high. So we'll go here, and we're going to go... yeah, nothing to do there. And with a middle pin bar, unfortunately, we're going to need some luck here if we really want to wipe out. And it's just not going to happen. So we got to deal with the change gems, and the fun begins. So we're at the change gems. Let's take a look. We're still looking. I should be able to get the double right here, and this should wipe him out, fortunately. Little twist and tornado punch from Luke Harper. Wouldn't that be nice? See the modern-day warrior, the Texas Tornado, Kerry Von Erich, in this game. Even though he somehow started around without a foot for for the career that I recall, because obviously that motorcycle accident happened in 86, 87. I always thought he was one of the coolest wrestlers in the Federation, but unfortunately for him, he had a serious drug problem, and made the unfortunate choice for his family, and he left us way, way too soon. But in other more uplifting news, we don't have to use either one of Brawn and Luke Harper anymore, and you'll be delighted to see Kane. Kane, I think, is a really fun character. Mr. Bane turned me on to Kane. Kane, we can see here, we're going to run the 2 reds. Obviously, the black is an 11 charge, but it's just a change gem charge, so we'll leave the 8 there. We're going to run him specifically with... we're going to run him with Sting. If I can find Sting, if I didn't already miss him, which is entirely possible, and I guess I did miss him. So let's see where Sting is. There's Sting. So the other piece here is the choose destroy. Eventually it goes to 2, but at this point I could put more blast gems on. But if we're really heading towards the finisher, then I think we're probably better with the Barrett here, and then we're just breaking red gems. There he is. So we're going to break 9 red gems with that finisher. You could, if you think you can fill that yellow up, go with Rusev, and then if he's breaking red gems and you're hoping that the blast gems fall on the red gems, as long as there's enough red on the board, you'll be blowing up blast gems. And this was actually brought up this week on Reddit, where there was some discussion about the fact that there is this kind of glitch that takes place where if a gem has any issue or any impairment, and when I say issue and impairment, I mean that it is a modified gem. So when we talk gems, we're talking, I'm going to wipe this row out to get both our red and to pick up some loot boxes while we can. Then the computer will take, if there is the ability to, all gems that fit within the mold. And that's a shame here. We would have seen a blast gem getting blown up, but Kane takes care of business. What I mean is, if here we had break 9, but let's say we didn't touch it, it was break 5, and there was a blast gem on 2 of the 7 red gems on the board. Well, if the AI can break 5 gems that don't have blast gems on it, they're going to do that first. And that's why guys like Corbin, it's important to have the break to make sure you cover enough gems to break, because otherwise they're not going to break your multiply gems. They're not going to break your your blast gems, etc. So Kane is done. Kane took care of business. Kane's been a project of mine for a while that, for one reason or another, I've just kind of backburnered. So, moving on, we have, I think we want to save Cass. Cass is pretty strong. Of this group here, I would probably say that Big John Studd is the weakest, I accidentally